Hi, Patsy. It's Joe.
Hello,
I started my video. Can you see me now?
I can. Yes, we're good.
All righty. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. How are things in Western Kansas?
I made it to July. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, boy. Hang in there, my dear.
We are live on YouTube. I think we're ready to go.
Ready to go. So, guess it's 10 o'clock. I only see 4 of us on the call for right now. Do we think we want to wait a few minutes to see if anybody else is going to be on the call? Zoom today?
Yeah, we don't have enough for a quorum even.
No. Let's wait a few minutes before we start the meeting then, if we can. Can we do that, Colton? Okay.
Yes, you can do that. Sorry, you caught me on another screen.
That's okay. Sorry. Let's just wait a few minutes here and then we'll get started. I have a script I need to read. And Carol, I see you're on the call. So if there's something agenda-wise I need to clear up, please jump in. No problem. Good to see you.
She's muted, Patsy.
I see that.
Thank you, Patsy. It's nice to see you too.
Yeah.
So Becky, are you on too? I can't see you.
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, hi there. Figured we could chat while we were waiting.
Colton, are we on YouTube? Is everybody listening to our conversation?
Yes, that is happening.
Yeah.
So I'll say nice things.
I just wanted everybody to know that was the reference because usually that's not the case, but today it is.
So this is Carol Moreland. Who actually is all on here and who are we waiting on? Can you tell me?
Rebecca Sander and Joe and myself and you, Adrian and Colton, I see in the picture frame here. That's all.
Okay.
This is Tracy. I'm here.
Is this?
There's a lot more people here, actually.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there is? I just
We're
can't see.
we're only missing Juliana, it looks like.
So can
So
we
you should
go
have a
ahead?
quorum.
So should we go ahead and get started? Yes, okay. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call this special meeting to order, and I have a script here I need to read. I need to cover the agenda item that's Executive Order 2049. That's on the agenda. That's the only thing on the agenda today. And I'll go ahead and read this script for today's open meeting. Hello, I am Patsy Zeller and serve as president of the Kansas State Board of Nursing. I ask the members of the board to respond to a roll call to signify their presence at this open meeting by conference call. Carol Langdon. Carol, if you could just say yes, that you're on the call on the Zoom.
Yes.
Juliana Resnick. We didn't think she was on yet. Rebecca Sander,
Yes.
Gwendolyn Lloyd,
Yes.
Mandy Carstetter,
Yes.
Joanne Clausen,
Yes.
Gita Noble,
Yes.
Tracy Thomas,
Yes.
and Jade Ramsdale.
Yes.
Thank you. I note the following staff members are also present: Carol Moreland,
Yes.
Adrian Guerrero,
Present.
and Jill Simons.
Yes.
Additionally, the Assistant Attorney General Janet Arndt and Will, I don't know how to say his last name, are also present.
Yeah, this is Janet.
And
And,
Will,
This is Will. This is Will.
thank you. Public comment allows individuals to address the board about their concerns, but the Kansas Open Meeting Act, which is known as KOMA, does not require the board to provide public comment or answer questions for individuals. As we will not know what comments an individual may make, we want to provide notice to the public of our intent to discuss a particular matter so that the public may listen and observe the discussion. Public comment will not be taken today due to the concern and because of it is a meeting conducted remotely by Zoom and YouTube Live where the connection may be lost and a period for meeting may not allow everyone who is present to comment. Because we're conducting this public meeting remotely by Zoom and YouTube Live, I state for the record the following information. Number one, on July 7th, 2020, the board sent notice of the meeting of the board to all individuals who have requested notice at the board meetings. Additionally, the notice and agenda were posted on the board's website, ksbn.kansas.gov. The notice contains the meeting identification number and password for Zoom and YouTube Live to allow the public to attend the meeting free of charge. The notice also advises individuals to contact the board's office at 785-296-5752 if the individual does not have access to a computer. You may obtain a copy of the notice and agenda at that website or by sending an email to Adrian Guerrero at kes.gov with the subject line request for the agenda, and the board staff will send it to you. Effective June 30th, 2020, House Bill 2016 ratified Governor Kelly's emergency declaration due to the COVID-19 pandemic and extended it through September 15th, 2020. The requirements of KOMA were not suspended. Conducting this meeting pursuant of KOMA and KAR 16-20-1 concerning compliance with the KOMA during an emergency declaration. The only mediums for interactive communication offered for this meeting are Zoom and YouTube Live. Each meeting of the board staff, or presenter shall state the person's name and the title each time the person speaks or votes, as the case may be. Each participant to this meeting shall ensure microphones, phones, or other electronic devices are on mute when the participant is not speaking. Motion will be clearly stated before the board votes, and the president will announce the result of the final vote. And a motion will clearly identify the authorized each member of the board or staff who are authorized to sign any document on behalf of the board. The meeting is recorded and the recordings will be posted on the board's website, and the board has the following item listed on its agenda: executive session, motion if needed, and adjournment. Above, the agenda includes an executive session. To exercise the option, the board will follow this process. The board must be in open session before going into executive session. The motion is made and seconded pursuant of KSA 75-4319 small b. The motion contained a statement of justification for closure, the subject to be discussed, and time and place the opening meeting will resume. If a motion for executive session passes, the members of the board will leave the open meeting. The public cannot attend the executive session portion of the meeting, as the executive session will be conducted by electronic means that will not be made available to the public. At the conclusion of the executive session, the members of the board will return to the remote meeting by Zoom and YouTube Live, and open meeting will resume. Motion for an executive session will be recorded in the minutes of the meeting. We will now begin the meeting with the first item on the agenda. So I understand with the information I received that we need to discuss the Executive Order 2049 with some changes that were made, and we need to go into executive session to be able to do that. So I need a motion of that.
This is Joe. I move that we adjourn into, I don't have the motion with me.
Okay, so let me read what is printed here. Do we have some idea about how much time that will be? How long will it take us? Do we have some idea, Adrian
Or Jan.
or Jan? 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes.
So if we put, is it okay if they're going to put 30 minutes on there?
Yeah, you have to
Okay.
wait till that 30 minutes is gone before you come back in then.
We think we could do this in 20. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean, 20 minutes, 30. Joe, what do you think?
I think 20 would do.
Okay, I'm going to read this printed motion, and then Joe was making the motion, so I'll read it, and if she agrees, then she can be the person who takes care of this motion. Pursuant to KSA 75-4319, I move that the board recess into executive session and reconvene the open meeting at, well, it'll be 20 minutes, so
I have
10.
10:10, so it'd be 10:30.
10:30 a.m. The meeting will be reconvened remotely by Zoom and YouTube Live as directed in the notice of the meeting that is published on the board's website, ksbn.kansas.gov. The subject to be discussed in the executive session concerns Executive Order number 20-49. The justification is consultation with the board's legal counsel, Assistant Attorney General Janet and Will Shebeknik. I'm sorry, that name. That would be deemed privileged to the attorney-client relationship. The board executive administrator, Carol Moreland, and the board's assistant executive, Adrian Guerrero, are included in this client.
So move.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
This
This
is
is
Carol
Pam.
Bragdon, board member. I will second.
Carol Bragdon, second. Any discussion? Do I have to do a roll call vote, or can we just unanimous, yes, everyone in favor?
Probably it's better to do a roll call vote, so then you know that you've reached a majority.
Okay, so I'll go down this list again. Carol Bragdon,
Yes.
Juliana Resnick,
Yes.
Rebecca Sander,
Yes.
Gwendolyn Lloyd,
Yes.
Mandy Carstetter,
Yes.
Joanne Clausen,
Yes.
Gita Noble,
Yes.
Tracy Thomas,
Yes.
Jade Ramsdale.
Yes.
And that motion carries. So we will go into executive session. Does everybody have the information they need to be able to go to the next step here?
Yes.
Everybody? Okay, so if anybody has any question about that, will you text Adrian and he can give you that information?
Okay.
So we need to mute our Zoom on. Stop our video and stop our mute. I mean, and hit mute too.
Yes.
Will that work, everybody? Okay, thank you. Colton says yes, so that's what we do.
While we place you into your conference.
Jan,
bring the meeting. This is Patsy Zeller. We're going to bring this back to open session and meeting back to order. Janet or Adrian, do I need to do another roll call?
Probably wouldn't hurt so that we always know that we have a majority so we can still do the meeting.
Okay. Carol Bragdon,
Present.
Juliana Resnick,
Present.
Rebecca Stander,
Present.
Gwendolyn Lloyd, Mandy Carstetter,
Present.
do another roll call. Joanne Clausen,
Probably wouldn't hurt so that we always majority so we can
Okay.
still do the meeting.
Carol- Joanne Clausen, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Sorry, present. I was
Present.
muted.
Gita Noble,
I'm here.
Tracy Thomas,
Present.
Jade Ramsdale. Jade, you're muted if you're on. We still have a majority there, it looks like. We can have a quorum. So discussion, do we need to have some more executive session, or can we make a motion and go from here?
Can I make a motion? We can have discussion, and then if we feel like we need to, we could go back into executive session.
Okay, I have one, okay, that'll be fine.
I move that we establish September 15 per the governor's executive order, and I forgot the number and I don't have it in front of me right now.
2040,
3040,
20-49.
20-49 as the date when nurses must have their licenses renewed as per our statute. However, that we give nurses notice that they have latitude. I don't know if latitude is the right word. To renew their licenses based on prior information that the board has posted.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Rebecca, this board member.
Rebecca, a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, my point would be that since we've already posted on our website that they have until September 28, and we then shorten that time frame, that we should provide them some latitude at least until the 28th to finish their CEs and get their renewal in.
Any other discussion?
Is it latitude or discretion?
If I may, I mean, this would always be something the board always has discretion. If you're talking about discipline, you've always got discretion on whether to do that. And that's always determined on a case by case basis. So that part of it really isn't necessary. It would just be changing the date. And then of course, if someone doesn't make it, they would have to advise the board why they didn't make it, and the committee could decide then whether or not anything should be done.
So my motion could be amended then to just state that September 15th would be the date.
Correct.
Yes. Just a point for the board is we examine every case on a case by case basis when we issue discipline. But as a general practice, we tend to give nurses a couple weeks latitude for a lapsed license anyways. And so moving the date should not make a tremendous difference. Just so you know that.
Unless there's a legal reason, I like the motion to state that because it makes it very clear. And I think if a nurse were reading it, it feels very negative to move that date earlier and not give that latitude. And I guess I'd like to acknowledge it. I understand we do it regularly, and Joe, you're absolutely right. We typically do give a couple of weeks, but unless there's a legal reason to not state it again, it feels good to state it in our motion.
The other option we would have is to leave the motion fairly clean, and then when we give notice to these nurses, just let them know. That would be another way to do it.
That would be, I would support that also.
I'm fine with that too.
Ms. Carol Bragdon, board member, I support that as well.
I like that idea. This is Rebecca.
So this is Jill. So how is it going to read then? I move that we establish 9/15 per Executive Order 2049 as the date nurses must have their license renewed per the KSBN statute.
It would have to read, Jill, that we move that.
If I may.
Go ahead, Jan.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know, so you would need the other part in the motion. I think then you would just direct staff to include in the emails that and the notices that they send to the licensees of the board's awareness that due to the prior executive order, a different date was given. And so that will be taken into consideration. Would that work? I mean, it makes your motion cleaner, but it still gets the same result as if you direct staff then to put in the notice, the additional language in the notice to licensees.
I agree. And I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. So Jill, the motion would just merely state that per the governor's new order 29-40, the date for licensure renewal is established as September 15.
Okay.
And then
would we
all the
say
rest
that
of
as
it, we would send out per notice.
Would it be the electronic notices? Is that what we're deciding?
I think so,
We're
Adrian.
deciding. Okay.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
I think that sounds fine. I have one question. I don't know if it needs to be in this discussion or another one, but with the frequency of the changing of the executive orders, can we put something in place, Janet, Joe, can we put something in place to where the executive team could make this decision without calling a complete board meeting? Can we be given that privilege to help make those changes if this keeps changing every 2 weeks or whatever?
Well, it probably won't change again until September 15th, because that's what, if everything goes, the declaration, emergency declaration ends on September 15th, which is what that 2016 House bill stated. And that's what the new executive order acknowledges. So the executive order and the emergency declarations in September 15th. For that to change again, it's going to have to be like the legislature. Well, they changed all that on the governor being able to do it. So it's going to be a bigger move probably to go in and make another emergency declaration.
Okay, so that's probably not for discussion today.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, and chances are you have a September meeting scheduled too, don't you? Is it before September 15th?
It's
the 8th, I think.
September 8th?
No,
No, it's got to be the 13th or so.
Yeah.
The 7th is Labor Day.
the actual board meeting is on September 6th or 15th.
So consequent, my guess would be that if the emergency order declaration changes, it would probably be on the date of your next meeting.
It could be on our next agenda, given at that point, we'll have also better information about what may or may not happen with that.
Yeah, and I think with this pandemic is sort of a moving target. Everything changes. So consequently, I think licensees just probably should either follow their normal expiration date because, they're going to have to keep up on all this pandemic stuff about when the executive orders come out and when they change them. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
next board meeting, I misspoke. It's actually September 16th, which is just a day later, but.
Okay. So if it's okay with everyone, we'll just put that on the agenda that we'll address that. I'm sure that'll be at the top of the mark anyway, so we'll do that. Any more discussion about the motion and the second we have with that amendment that was made? Hearing none, I'm going to take my cue. I need to do roll call again. So if you can say yes or no, that would be great. Carol Bragdon,
Yes.
Juliana Resnick,
Yes.
Rebecca Sander,
Yes.
Gwendolyn Lloyd, Mandy Carstetter,
Yes.
Joanne Clausen,
Yes,
Gita Noble,
Yes.
Tracy Thomas,
Yes.
Jade Ramsdale.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like we have a quorum. The motion carries. Anything else we need to do?
the only other comment I would make is we will have to correct the notice on our website then.
So noted. I see Adrian shaking his head, so that'll be taken care of.
Yeah, we'll get it done.
Okay. If there's not anything else, then I need a motion for adjournment.
This is Juliana. I'll move to adjourn this special meeting of the board.
Carol Bragdon, I'll second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Looks like it carries, so the meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, Patsy.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Patsy. Everybody stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Aye.